Okay, good afternoon. I am here with Mr. Bill Chirdon.
Bill, please.
Yes, Bill, please. Okay, no problem. Thank you for agreeing to do this for me and agreeing to this video interview with me. And it's for our Bay Path University FSS 350 Food Science Seminar class.
Very nice. Very
Yes,
nice.
yes. We're going to interview like food professionals and so forth.
You're always learning, Tish.
Yes,
Never
yes.
stop learning.
You can never stop learning. No one can never stop learning. So, I want to, let the class. I selected you because I feel that you would give some good input as a food professional.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna start off with maybe you can tell me a little about yourself, like where you grew up, what type of educational background you have, where you work, and things of that nature. What's your title?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I was raised on a large dairy farm in Ohio.
Okay.
My dad had a big construction business, and he loved the country.
Okay.
So he bought this huge farm, and I was very young, and he let my mom and four sisters and I run the farm.
Oh, wow.
So he worked on this big construction company, and he bought all the equipment and all the animals, and we'd bale hay and plow the fields and milk cows, and he sent me to 4-H and FFA to learn all these things.
Okay.
I had a great high school. It was college prep, and I learned so much in FFA. I mean, I remember when I was 14 years old, I learned how to weld and how to repair engines, how to take care of animals. I remember helping the animals give birth when they were having trouble, and I could do that. And so I learned a lot as a young man.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And then I went on to Ohio State to be a veterinarian.
Oh.
I got accepted to Ohio State's veterinary school, but I decided not to go. I had a roommate that was a food science major, and I loved what he was studying. I'd always ask him questions, and he was always showing me what he was doing in school. So I would talk to Jeff, and I actually changed my major from dairy science. Well, I got a degree in dairy science, but then I went to food science, got another degree, food science and engineering, because I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
I had jobs, internships during school. I had internships in the summer. I had job offers when I got out of Ohio State, so I picked where I wanted to go. I became a plant manager almost right out of college at Dean Foods.
Oh, really?
And then Hershey Foods recruited me after that.
Okay.
Worked there 20 years.
Okay.
And now I'm at Kunzler's, Director of Food Safety.
Yes.
So a lot of good things happen to me.
Oh, man, you have a plethora of background.
Yes.
Very, very vast background. That's good, though. That's good. That kind of helps with, maneuvering life and everything. It's good to have all kinds of different knowledge and so forth. So I'm glad. You married, children?
Oh, yes. I have a wife, 3 kids. My oldest son is a lawyer in real estate, doing very well.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, kids are interesting. He was telling me that 6 years ago he bought a bunch of Bitcoin. And I said, Bitcoin, what's that? And he explained this cryptocurrency to me, and he actually made a lot of money.
Really?
Yeah, I'm saying, you made money on cryptocurrency? He says, Dad, I'm not going to sell it. It's going to be even higher.
I heard about cryptocurrency.
But I said, okay, I wish you well. I have no idea what this is, but I wish you well.
Yeah.
Then my oldest daughter's head of marketing for a big company in Maryland.
Okay.
And my youngest daughter's going to nursing school.
Very good.
So they're all making their mark in the world.
That's good. That's good. As long as you go ahead and they can make their mark, that's good because you made your mark. So that's very good.
Thank you. My wife's a registered dietitian.
Oh.
She works at one of the largest nursing homes in Lancaster.
Okay.
And she's in charge of the kitchens, and she's in charge of dietetics.
So both of y'all guys kind of focus on nutrition and food.
We talk often about nutrition.
Very
and food.
good. Very good.
She's a Penn State grad. I'm a Ohio State grad.
Okay.
So this is an interesting weekend because there's a big football game Saturday.
Oh
so I got to be careful what I say there.
Yes, you better be very careful. Very careful.
She's working Saturday, so that's a good thing.
Okay, good. Now, you already mentioned like your first job dealing with food industry was what, Dean's?
I did an internship at 2 dairy plants when I was in college. Dean Foods, which was a very large dairy. It still is.
Good.
And the plant manager gave me a special project to work on. I worked in the ice cream department.
Okay.
But he worked me like 60 hours a week. There was so much to do.
Yes.
And I learned so much. And I really enjoyed that.
That's
the
good.
cleaning, the formulation.
Good.
Working with people.
Okay.
The GMPs.
Yes.
I loved, back then, the formulations were done algebraically.
Yes.
Now it's all computerized. So
things
have changed. But I loved math. I enjoyed the calculations. I'd show the guys how I did things.
Oh,
and,
good.
Oh, this is kind of neat.
Good. And then from there, well, you went to Hershey's, right? Well, you went to Dean and Hershey, but they're both under FDA jurisdiction, correct?
The dairy industry is under FDA, yes.
Yes, and so is Hershey's.
I remember when Listeria checking was coming out that FDA committed 100 swabs in our plant for Listeria.
Really?
I was scared to death because I didn't know much
Okay.
about it. Because in college, they didn't teach us about Listeria.
No?
It was not even in the
Well, it
late
wasn't
70s. It was the 80s that came about.
Correct,
So I
correct.
just got out of school, and I just got promoted to plant manager at a large Dean Foods plant in Springfield, Ohio, and we were learning about Listeria. I was reading all about it, and I understood a little bit about it, but it was the first time.
Okay.
I knew about listeriosis in cows, where they give stillborn abortions.
Correct,
I knew
correct.
about that. I'd read about that in veterinary medicine, but I
Okay.
did not correlate it with humans at that time.
Okay.
I only thought it was an animal disease. But in reality, I learned very quickly that Listeria can affect any kind of mammal.
Yes.
Humans, bovines.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. That's good that you. Now, what do you like about working in the food industry? I mean, I know you already touched base that you caught interest and stuff in college and everything, but
Yeah, I like a lot about it. I like to eat food.
of course,
I like
of
to
course.
sell food to people that they can enjoy it.
Yes,
I like
yes.
I like research and development. I like to design new foods.
Okay.
I had a chance to do that at Hershey Foods.
Okay.
I was involved with a lot of new product development.
Oh, that's good.
Whether it be the Hershey Kiss with Almond,
Okay.
or Hershey made a chocolate bar. I remember Norman Schwarzkopf came to us
Okay.
during that conflict we had in Iraq.
Okay,
Back
yes,
in
yes,
1990.
Yes.
And the Army wanted a chocolate bar that wouldn't melt in the desert.
Oh,
So we made a desert bar for him.
really?
Yes, we got a patent for that at Hershey. I was helping on that with a bunch of other people. And at 140 degrees, it tasted fudgy-like. It wouldn't even melt.
Really?
And Storm
I've
and
never heard
Norman
of that
came
one.
back to Hershey and said, "Guys, we love this bar. Thank you so much."
Ooh.
And we made millions and millions of these bars. We had a camouflage
Packaging?
labeling on them.
Oh, wow. That's kinda neat.
It was neat.
Yeah.
But we did all kinds of fun things like that. I had a chance to go to Mexico and build for Hershey an aseptic chocolate drink plant. Because in Mexico, there's no refrigeration.
Yeah.
So we made it
surprised.
aseptically. So we could sit out in the sun for 5 years and be
Okay.
fine.
Oh, really?
So that was a fun project.
Well, that's very interesting.
We had a problem in Guadalajara, Tish, where we had salmonella in our chocolate.
Yes.
And the CEO of Hershey said, "Bill, either fix this problem or I'm selling the plant."
Oh, wow.
So we went down there, and what we learned was, this is quite interesting. It was a third world country at
course.
that time, and the people
Yes.
didn't understand basic sanitation. They didn't understand about. I look at their hands; their nails are dirty.
Yes,
They didn't
yes.
understand washing their hands.
Yeah.
They didn't understand about showering and bathing
Of course,
and
yes.
basic hygiene. Once he fixed that issue, the salmonella went away.
Yeah.
But it was just a very common
Yeah.
misunderstanding we had there.
Of
When
course.
you go into a third world country, these are things that are, you and I take that for
Yes.
granted here.
Correct. We do. We
Big
do.
problem in Mexico in the early 1980s.
Yes,
Big
yes,
problem.
yeah. But see, they also had like a lot of water issues, which they still some parts still do. So
Oh, yeah, they told us don't drink the water.
Of course, of
Be very
course.
careful what you eat. Make sure it's well cooked.
yes,
And the first time I went down there, I took an engineer with me, and he ate some chicken, and Tish, he got so sick.
oh,
I had to fly him back home, and he wasn't right for a month after that. He got
Really?
something in him, maybe salmonella,
oh man,
and he was so sick. I felt so sorry for him, but I was very careful what I ate and drank, bottled
okay,
water and
correct,
stuff. But
correct.
yeah, his immune system just couldn't withstand what was
Yes,
going on down
correct,
there. So
correct.
you have to be very careful in Mexico.
Of course, yes, yes.
So did a lot of work in Mexico with the dairy industry. It was interesting. The first time I went down there, I was checking the milk that was coming into the dairy plant, and it was 101 degrees. And our dairy farm, our milk was below 40 degrees.
Yes, of course.
And I asked them, why is this milk 100? Because 101 degrees is the body temperature of a cow. That's the temperature of the milk when it comes out of the cow. Why is that milk 101 degrees? And they said to me, we don't refrigerate here. We use it right away. And I said, though, if you milk a cow today and use it the same day, you're cutting the shelf life right in half. And
Correct.
it's going to spoil within 24 hours.
Yes, correct.
And they said, well, that's why we do it right away. So I actually had to stop the project. I had to stop the project for 6 months till we could teach the dairy farms in Mexico how to refrigerate milk.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
Oh my gosh!
It
Well,
was
that's
very interesting.
whoa, man, that's very interesting.
So what I like about the food industry, there's hundreds of stories I could tell you.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of stories.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
everything.
So, but you like everything about the food
Oh
industry.
yeah, nothing I dislike. I mean, the one thing I probably don't like is when you have personnel issues. I don't like that.
Of course.
You know, in this
of
day and
course.
age, sometimes people have problems or issues.
Yes.
We have addiction issues. And
Correct.
I had to deal with some tough
Correct.
things there,
Correct.
and I could tell the person was hurting. And there's only so much we can do to help there.
Correct.
We
Correct.
try to help, but sometimes, as humans, we get into trouble.
Correct.
Those are hard things.
Correct.
To deal with.
Correct.
Yeah.
We are all human. We all make mistakes. So it's important for us to learn from those mistakes.
And a lot of times the people do get better,
Correct.
long term. But I hate to see them, the pain and suffering they go through.
Correct.
I have one guy right now that he lost his son, and he's really having a tough
Yeah.
time, and he went to drinking and stuff. And that's not. I mean, who am I to say it ever happened to me? But he's not handling it right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him professional help.
Correct. Well, that's good.
That's the hard
good.
part of the job.
Yes,
the
it's
people
hard part of the
issues.
job. People, yes, correct. Of course. Well, you have with the different individuals, so you get a diverse group. You get different things that happen with each individual. So,
Yeah.
of course, that's going to be a little more, hard in the food industry.
Yeah, it's challenging at times, but not too much. It just happens from time to time.
Correct. Well, how do you feel about the current state of the food industry, though?
I think it's regulated well.
Do you think? Okay.
I mean, FDA is getting more involved in things. I see them growing and being more aggressive in
Yes.
food safety.
Especially with the FSMA.
Oh my gosh, what a great thing that was. I see USDA being active like they've always been. I mean, you guys have been in the food meat plants since 20 years now.
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
you're
for a long
right.
time.
You're shoulder to shoulder with us.
Yes,
You're looking
yes.
over our shoulders. Yeah, I like that. Or no, I don't like
Yeah,
that.
yes.
So I think we're regulated well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a nice checks and balance.
Oh, good. I'm glad because my next question was, do you have faith in the way the government agencies and industry handle hazards that can affect our food? So that was kind of you kind of started touching base a little bit on that.
Well, yeah, I think they're doing a fine job. I mean, no one likes recalls.
Of course,
No one likes to hurt anyone either, though.
No, of course not.
So I've actually never been involved in a recall, Tish. I've never.
You weren't. No, you weren't here
I've
when.
been-
Okay.
Or at Hershey, all the plants I've been in, I've been always very preventive in thinking.
Well, that's good.
I
That's
mean,
good.
So I've never had a recall where I've been involved with.
Okay.
I've had other facilities, like I was at Hershey, had recalls, but nothing I was responsible for.
Well, that's good. Though,
So you know what? But I read about them all the time.
Of course.
They happen in a large way,
Yes.
and
Yes.
but I learn from them. I like to make copies of them and send them to my staff and say, "Read this. This can't happen here."
Okay.
Learn
That's
from it.
Very good. That's good. That's good. Learning is always the key. You can always learn every day.
Well, and the more you share with people, the more they can help you too.
Correct.
I have a lot of team members that don't like to share. Maybe they think it's confidential, or maybe they think it's too much information. And I think just the opposite.
Correct.
I want to share everything I can with the team.
So well, that way the whole team, as a team, can be one accord.
I need to surround myself with good people.
Correct.
They
correct.
need to know what I know, and if they don't know enough, they may make a mistake.
Correct.
So I want them to
Correct.
share as much and know as much as possible.
Correct.
That's just how I think, though.
No, that's a good way of thinking.
I
That's a
think
good
so.
way of
I
thinking.
hope
Yes,
so.
it is. Okay, what do you think is the biggest issue for food manufacturers?
You know, the one thing that we could never bounce back from, and I hope it never happens, if we killed a person.
Of course.
If we made a product and we were responsible for a death,
Correct.
we can never bounce back from that.
Well, yes.
I mean, I'm not sure how that would happen. Maybe a pathogenic bacteria,
Yeah.
sharp piece of metal,
Of course.
someone tampering with our products,
Yeah.
put something in.
Yes.
You know, I'm a fanatic about keeping doors locked.
Correct.
I get
Food
upset.
defense is what we in our class, this class, we went over, or our last class, we had a food defense, and we really got into it with the food defense.
As you should.
Yes.
Yesterday I was in our basement cleaning it up
Correct.
because it's an old plant, lot to do down
Correct.
there. And a truck driver's down there. And I said to him, "Who are you?" He goes, "Who are you?" I said, "No, I asked you first. Who are you?"
Yeah.
He goes, "I'm a truck driver." I said, "What are you doing here?" "I'm delivering chemicals for your wastewater system." And I said, "Okay, how long have you been coming here?" "For many years." "Okay. Did you sign in?" "Oh, no, I don't have to sign in." I said, "Is that right?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, No, you got to sign in.
Correct.
And I got his name and everything. Went to the boss who's in charge of that area and told him, hey, you got to make sure your guys sign in. Well, he's been coming for 15 years. I said, what happens if we had an emergency where we had a fire, we had to evacuate.
Correct.
We need to know who's in the plant.
Correct.
Where everyone's accounted for.
Correct.
And then the fire people come in, they find this guy down there. I mean, that would be a horrible thing.
That would be very horrible.
So, food defense is very important.
Very important.
And we got to take it seriously.
Yes.
And we do, but is there room for improvement? Yes, there is.
Of course. I'm glad you touched base on that one too. What other challenges that you might face being in the food industry?
Training and education.
Training.
I mean, we have some great people here with 25 years experience, but then, especially on second shift, I'll go through a room and I'll see orange helmets on. And orange helmets represent somebody new.
Correct.
And sometimes I go through these rooms and I think, oh my gosh, it's a pumpkin patch. There's orange helmets everywhere.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, oh boy, but these people are all new.
Yes.
They don't know what we're doing real well.
Correct.
They know a little bit, but do they know enough? Probably not. So I'm always thinking about how do we get them better? How do we get them up to our knowledge base fast as possible?
Correct.
And we have a lot of good training that goes on, but sometimes some of the managers are a little more focused on production numbers than the process we use to get good numbers.
Correct.
So I have that discussion with my production colleagues a lot. Yeah, good numbers are great, but how you achieve those good numbers is even better.
Because the employees is actually first. Just like with food defense, they're the first line of defense. And then also with the actual production, they're first. Well, they're the one who's actually doing the work.
Well, you're right. Food safety is critical here.
Correct.
GMPs are critical here. How to get out of the building if there's an evacuation.
Yes.
And this is a 100-year-old building with 130 rooms.
Yes.
It took me a week to figure out where I was at. If it's my first day in the job here as a temp, I don't know where I'm at.
Yes.
I really don't know. I wonder where the lunchroom is. I wonder where the area is where we have to evacuate.
Yes.
They may not know that.
Yes. That's right.
Maybe we showed them and maybe they forgot.
Correct. And that's easy to forget first day or anything,
So we had a 2-week shutdown recently, Tish.
Yes.
And I bought 35 evacuation signs. And I have the safety team put them up, And I said, act like you're a person first day here. And if you get out of the building real quick, there's an emergency. Put those signs up so you can get out really quick from all the departments.
That's good.
And I think they did a good job.
That's good.
I think they did a real nice job.
That's good because that'll help with OSHA requirements and stuff like that too.
Yeah, OSHA's they're tough.
Very tough on that. Yes.
Yeah, they have immense power.
Yes.
I would say they have more power than USDA.
Yeah, I would say that sometimes.
When you find a problem, you send us a report, and we have to write back to you what we're doing to get better.
Yes.
When OSHA comes in and finds a problem, they write a report.
They fine you.
We have to get better, and their fines aren't hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars.
I know them and EPA. EPA gives you fines too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we had one fine with OSHA last year, and it was our fault. We made a mistake. We fixed it.
Yes.
But it was thousands of dollars.
Yes, it is.
And we learned our lesson.
Oh yeah, well when people start pulling money out their pockets, that's a quick way to learn a lesson.
That was our profits for a month.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. And then,
not too often.
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to lose your profits.
That probably won't happen again.
Oh, that's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point. So
they made their point very clear.
Now, why do you think sanitation is so important in the food industry?
Yeah, that's a good question. I remember as a very young man, I was raised on a dairy farm.
Yes.
And we got paid extra money if our microbiological counts in our milk were in certain ranges. So the dairy that bought our milk, and I was just a young kid, but my dad gave me a lot of the milk check money.
Okay.
So I was interested in what I made, and I was interested in that bonus. Because that was an extra $100 a month for me, and as a young man, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
So I learned right away that if I took really good care of the animals, and if I kept things really clean, if I scrubbed things really well, I sanitized really well, and when the parts got wore out, put new parts on the milkers, I learned, like when I was 8, 9 years old, if I did a really good job there, the milk's of a very high quality, and I got more money. Okay. And of course, a young man, I like that. But now,
so money was your main motivation.
Well, when I was little, now I'm an old man, and I realized that sanitation is important because it makes a healthy, safe product.
Correct.
And every product we make here is very perishable.
Yes.
it can take on micro counts very quickly.
Correct.
And any kind of raw agricultural product, raw milk, raw meat, raw fish, raw vegetables from the ground can have high micro counts.
Correct.
So you got to clean it really well.
Correct.
And we emphasize cleanliness here highly. I have 2 supervisors that work in sanitation, just handpicked a new one, and we talk about this all the time. You know, sanitation. Every day we find things we're not happy with. We're never complacent there. We always try to get better.
Correct.
And we'll probably get better every day from now on.
Right. Well, that's a good way to think of things, though. So, yeah, because that's what I wrote. Like, the focus of, from one of the things I've read, in a quote, the focus of the sanitation program is to remove or destroy the microbiological organisms and remove any organic material from those areas that may support the survival of growth of the organism.
And I'll tell you how we're improving there. I mean, there's old-fashioned chemicals you scrub.
Correct.
And I thought we were doing a pretty good job, and there's some new technology from Europe.
Okay.
And I brought it in recently, and I brought in the experts. It's an enzymatic cleaner.
Okay.
And this enzyme works to eat away biofilms.
Yes.
And I said, well, show me where a biofilm is. They said, okay. So I went to a piece of equipment, and they sprayed a fluid on it, and if it turned a dark purple, that represented a residual, a biofilm, an invisible but real film of residue left behind that could possibly harbor bacteria.
Correct.
And they found those in areas that I thought were clean.
Yes.
So now we have new technology to check our plant for cleanliness, and in a new chemistry of cleaning in our arsenal of cleaning I didn't have before.
Yes,
so
yes.
Guess what?
Because some biofilms you can see right away.
Some you can't too.
Some you can't.
These are the invisible ones.
Correct.
And,
that's good.
And that's what we're working on tonight in our large blending department. We found some, even though it's a raw area, that's important too.
Yes, correct. All areas are important in sanitation.
The less micro load you have there, the less micro load you have down the road.
Correct.
So our goal is to be a terminator.
That's
kill
good.
Microbes.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Because they'll be back.
Now, I've noticed you made many changes and upgrades at the establishment that you work. What made you feel these changes were necessary?
Well, in our business, I'm always worried about harborage areas. So if there's hollow tubing, what's wrong with hollow tubing? Well, nothing at first. But as that hollow tubing gets older, it might develop cracks or fissures.
Correct.
And now liquids, a little bit of food particles get in there, and then you heat it up and it expands, they come back out. But when it comes out, it might have pathogens in it, like listeria. So, 30 years ago, we didn't think about this kind of thing.
Correct.
So when I see that in our plant, we will remove that equipment when we can and put in better equipment that we've designed to be hygienic and harborage free. So we're always looking for harborage areas, Tish, whether it be in the floor,
That's good.
in the equipment, in the walls, and there's things like wood. I build with wood. I have a house made of wood. Works great. But when you have wood in a manufacturing plant and it gets wet day after day after day, now it'll harbor bacteria.
Yes.
So, in this old plant we found wood in the walls.
Yes.
We have to take that all out. Or wood in the ceiling, we take that all out.
Yes.
And then you put in metal. Because metal's impervious to soaking in water.
Yes.
And it won't harbor microgrowth very easily. Wood will harbor microgrowth so well.
Yes.
So we're always learning about harborage areas.
Yes.
And I could talk all day about this, but if you could find the harborage areas and remove them from the plant, you're doing the right thing.
That's why they actually, I don't know if you remember when used to be a lot of the older plants they always used a lot of wood. It was a lot of wood in the plants. It was a lot of cutting boards was wood. And wood. So, I don't know if you remember, but I remember when they changed all that, they realized that it was harboring so much, places with the wood, and because the blood, the bacteria stuff soaks in.
Well, I remember when restaurants used to have cutting boards.
Correct.
And they would cut maybe vegetables on them.
Yep, vegetables,
Then they
meat,
try to clean and sanitize it.
Correct.
Then they cut maybe lettuce on it.
Correct.
Well, they thought they cleaned it, and they thought they sanitized it, and when you really looked at it carefully,
yes,
there was still stuff there.
Correct.
There was still microbial growth.
Correct.
Yeah, wood's a hard one to clean and sanitize.
Yes,
and
that's why that's why we encourage the removal of those in the food establishments.
Like we won't allow wood pallets in some of our we call them ready-to-eat areas because they need to be hospital clean in some areas of the plant.
Yes,
wood is not hospital clean.
No,
so it has to stay in the raw areas.